Located just beyond the serene town of Nuwara Eliya, amidst lush mountains and vintage tea estates, lies a 4-star hotel that is rather unique in concept. An old tea factory that was once fully functional during the times of the British Raj now offers its patrons great ambience, picturesque surroundings, and service that is guaranteed to spoil you absolutely rotten. Join me on this edition of Honeymoon Destinations as I indulge in the splendor of the Heritance Tea Factory.
Heritance Tea Factory is not just a hotel, but a living piece of history. The factory stands in the picturesque Heritance estate, which dates back over 100 years to the late 19th century, the very heydays of Ceylon tea. Though fully converted into a 4-star hotel, it still preserves much of its old charm and offers visitors a close encounter with life in a real plantation. Its colonial heritage and warm hospitality set the perfect backdrop for a vintage honeymoon. Heritance is about 14 kilometers from the town of Nuwara Eliya. As you wind up the hill through its narrow roads, the hotel with its window panes and white gabled roof almost creeps up on you. At first glance, you might think you've taken a wrong turn and ended up at a real factory. But when you step inside these doors, you'll find yourself in another world. The transformation from factory to hotel is astounding. The ground floor, where freshly plucked tea leaves first arrived, is now beautifully done up to serve as the reception. Here, a traditional Hindu welcome awaits guests, complete with a colorful kolam motif, a sandalwood tilakam for the forehead, an organic mouth freshener in the form of cardamom, cumin seeds, and sugar candy. All this is followed up with a warm cup of spiced tea to liven things up after the long journey. The 3 floors that make up the rooms and suites were originally withering lofts of the factory. Tea was sifted and graded in what is now the restaurant, while the main bar was used for packing the processed leaf. The kitchen originally functioned as the engine room that supplied power to the factory. Its oil-fired engine, now restored to working condition, is displayed for guests at the basement. Alongside it is a picture gallery that recounts the old days of the factory when a different breed of people walked these corridors. A trip down memory lane, literally.
And now there is a man in a safety helmet serving me cocktails. I must be losing my mind.
Dawn can be quite a spectacle in these parts. A thick mist gathers on the neighboring peaks and swoops down on the plantation almost by surprise. Locals call it by the Tamil phrase "Poopani," which means flowers of frost. It's amazing to sit and watch nature whitewash her own walls. My rather eventful night was spent at the Flowerdew Suite on the topmost floor of the building. It is named after the first owner of Heritance, William Flowerdew. Suites and rooms at Heritance Tea Factory have a period elegance to it. Retro-style pendant lamps adorn the living room and bedroom. Georgian-style sash windows bring an abundance of sunlight into the room and keep it nice and warm. Wooden ceiling beams and decor add a rustic charm to the place.
When you enter the Flower Dew suite, it's almost possible to forget that you are in a 4-star hotel. It feels like you and your beloved have run off to some secluded cabin. Where I am standing now is 2 kilometers above sea level, which makes this the room that has the highest elevation in all of Sri Lanka.
The wall-to-wall carpet mirrors the natural green of the outdoors and softens the warm hues of the room. In this suite, the bedroom is a separate chamber that commands a 180-degree view. The bathroom is more contemporary in design and comes with a rain shower cubicle as well as a compact jacuzzi.
And what is a holiday in Nuwara Eliya without strawberries? Strawberries? Sure.
William Flower Dew started the Heritance plantation back in 1879, a decade after James Taylor introduced tea to Sri Lanka. Near the turn of the century, Heritance tea had fetched 30 times more than the market price at auctions in London. Back in those days, tea from Kantapula was transported along the famous narrow-gauge railway track known as the Udupusa lava line. The factory you see today was built in 1930. By 1973, it closed down and went into deep slumber. It took another 23 years for it to come out of hibernation, but only this time as a 4-star hotel. The factory got its facelift mainly from the inside. The exterior was left virtually untouched during the conversion. This clever use of a color scheme lets you easily spot the additions made to the structure. Green for original metalwork and red for supports added in later. The role of the factory manager has also changed over the years. Today, they're not just businessmen, but have also become part curators.
Initially, when I joined, it was a challenge to me, but I feel with a great staff like this, people who are from the same location, they feel that it's their own property. It's so easy to manage it.
They're incredibly courteous and they're so knowledgeable. Is this a part of their training?
Exactly, because when you are from the same area, you already get that knowledge and you have the feeling for the place. And of course, they have been trained from the initial stages of this hotel.
Heritance Tea Factory has been highly commended for both its architecture and its environmental policies. These include simple things like making biogas and compost, and not so simple things like generating hot water through a process called biomass gasification. What it actually does is convert organic material like wood pellets into a type of gas that can produce heat. This is an environmentally sound alternative to burning fossil fuels like diesel. The natural setting is one of the hotel's biggest assets, and it is nice to see them go the extra mile to preserve it. Though the Udupusa narrow-gauge railway line closed down in the late 40s, its memory is very much alive at Heritance Tea Factory. One of its trademark carriages has been converted into what the hotel calls a restaurant on wheels.
On board, please.
The third-class Kalani Valley 6685 offers a memorable fine dining experience. It relives the glory days of the railway, from the detail of the livery to the teak and brass of the carriage.
Hello, good evening, ma'am.
Hi, good evening. How are you?
Well, how are you doing?
Fantastic.
Right. Can I know the order?
Everything looks too delicious, so I can't decide what to have. What do you recommend?
Processed lamb bread.
Sounds really good.
Great.
all up to it.
So we'll stick on to that. Have a very nice evening with us, ma'am.
You too.
Thank you.
The executive chef personally takes your order and sets to work in the kitchen. Popular dishes on the menu include smoked salmon, roasted duck, Australian lamb, and venison rump steaks. Vegetables and herbs that go into these dishes are super fresh as they come from the hotel's very own garden. A 6-course meal in a third-class carriage? Now that's what I call once in a lifetime.
Enjoy the menu, please.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Heritance is surrounded by working tea estates, and the hotel has its own 25-acre plantation. This means guests at the hotel can pluck their own tea, process it at a factory, and take it home as a souvenir. And what's more, you get to do it the picture postcard way. Being tossed in with the pros didn't really help my cause. Thankfully, factory manager Tyagaraja was at hand to teach me the do's and the don'ts of the trade.
I absolutely love the sari and the plucking, but I'm not entirely sure how many tea leaves are going in my basket.
Probably didn't do enough to get my face on a postcard. Maybe I'll have better luck with my wages. The mini factory provides a step-by-step demonstration of how the tea leaves are processed. First up, the leaves are softened by withering. Next, they go into a roller that extracts the juices that give them their flavor. The leaves that come out of the roller are sifted and left to ferment. At the end of fermentation, the leaves change color from green to black. Finally, it is sent through a chain of machines to be sifted into different grades based on the size of the leaf. Wonder if I found my true calling. There is nothing more rewarding than a cup of afternoon tea after all that hard labor at the factory. In the true English traditions of high tea, a rich blend of orange pekoe is served up with cakes, scones, fruit tarts and cookies. The gardens at Heritance, with its maze of hedges, are perfect for walking, relaxing, or as in my case, simply indulging.
Nuwara Eliya has all the key ingredients for the perfect honeymoon, and planters' bungalows are the obvious choice that couples opt for in order to experience the climate, the scenic beauty, and the relaxed pace of life. But if you like things out of the ordinary, then break the norm and stay at a refurbished factory that hasn't changed much since its heydays. Unique concept at an affordable price. But my recommendation to you is that you stay at the Heritance Tea Factory for at least 3 nights, or maybe more. Thank you. Romba nandri. Sadly, my time at the Heritance Tea Factory has come to an end. It's been absolutely memorable, filled with things I never thought I would do. The memento that I get to take home is the tea I plucked and processed today under the Heritance Tea Factory logo. I'm so proud of myself. That's it from me for today, but until I see you next time, this is Christina bidding all of you farewell.